You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am, and I'll tell you what, it's 7:31 Pacific West Coast time. We got Allan on the show tonight. Allan, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Allan's still here, so we're both here. It makes me wonder what is going on in that area. I mean, what are the authorities? Have you ever talked to any of the authorities, and have they come up with any ideas what maybe is going on?
They say it doesn't make sense, and they'll shake their head, and they don't want to really talk about it, and authorities... well, they're always, for example, in the city, the police officers, even they'll always keep their cards close to their chest to say, well, he's a suspect, or, always giving double talk. And the only time that you can really talk to some of the people is some of the search and rescue and say, this does not make sense about how these trained dogs got afraid, and how no bone, no clothing of any of these people that have gone missing. And these are just a few of the people that I'm recalling right now. You'd think that, this is not, this area, be it up by Elk Mountain, where Mel Nadel disappeared, or Emma Tresp disappeared by Baldy. There's a abandoned ranger tower there. All these areas, this is not... a territory, terrain that's triple layered, Vietnamese type jungle. It's not, the Hindu Kush mountain range. I always describe it like northern Georgia. In other words, in northern Georgia, you're going to have a field, you're going to have trees, paths, cabins. In other words, it's impossible to get lost in northern Georgia. Same thing on up here. You've got landmarks. At night, you can see the reflection of lights of different village, different where you're at. It's impossible to get lost there, but yet these people have gotten lost there, and their remains have never been found. It's really strange. And in this area, going farther to the north, and some people say, well, that's in the triangle, but it's on the edge. But again, too, this is such a squashed oval type of area that juts on out. Robert Oppenheimer had a ranch on out there. And here's a, kind of strange idea, but think about this. Robert Oppenheimer was father of the atomic bomb, and he used to go for days on out into the wilds on his horse, and take a couple of candy bars, that's it, or nothing at all, and be lost on out there for days on end, and then come on back. And you say to yourself, well, what was he channeling on into on out there? It's kind of like what they say about Leonardo da Vinci. When Leonardo was, 19, 20 years old, he disappeared for, a year and a half, 2 years out in the Dolomites of Italy. And then he came back, and he was this genius. And there's all these stories about him that he met these beings in a cave that gave him this knowledge. Like I say, there's portals, or a portal, or see here, portales, doorway. Something's on up there that moves around, that opens and closes on up there. And I think that it's many different energies, entities, be it dimensional, come and go through that area.
Are you scared yourself going walking around up there investigating?
Really?
No, I'm not afraid going on up there. I'm in like Flynn with the angels. I do a lot of prayer. I'm there with Big G, the Trinity, and that's going to happen to us. It's only a matter of when, and I don't get afraid going on up there. I've only had one incident where I had a fright, and I don't think I've ever told this on a radio show, but this was on a previous expedition on up there. And this was not up in the Melnatal area. This was the Emma Tresp area. And we had spread on out, because sometimes it depends on how many people were on this investigation on up there. Sometimes it's just a duo, sometimes it's more than that. But in other words, I'm at the flanking end, and we're going through some trees there. And as I go through some trees into a small little clearing, I got the strangest feeling of something trying to frighten me. I mean, just like a beam of, and there's not a beam of energy, but just like a force, and saying like, where are you? You're lost. And just trying to panic me. I thought to myself, that's really strange, this feeling. I never get this feeling. I thought to myself, all right, something's trying to mess with my mind. And, of course, I had my compass. I took it on out. I checked it. Everything's okay. And, of course, I'm armed. I'm able to squeeze off some rounds if need be. And I thought, that's really, really strange. And, again, I'm not one of those type of guys who, I'm in some trees. Oh, I hear a rattlesnake. Oh, over there's a cougar at 50 yards, 40 yards. Or, no, I don't. That's not me. And I thought to myself, wow, that was really strange. I wonder if something was testing me. And but that was the only time that I can say that something, tried to affect me. And there was I could feel, like something trying to frighten me, like something trying to, like if you're a kid, boo, and then another big boo after that. That's the best way that I could, a synopsis of that feeling.
Interesting.
Wow.
Now,
you ever take?
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you ever did any EVP work out there in that area.
Yeah, I have, and we haven't gotten anything as far as being able to say, okay, this is what it said, this is what I heard, this is what you heard. Now with the other, let's say the Ovilus type of machine, and this is going to be like the Apollo 11 Eagle has landed type of thing, where it's going to give you words. That's when it completely drained and was not working. And I thought that was very, very strange. Now, on up there, as far as, I'll give you another example, and this is where Mel Nadel disappeared. I had a cell phone on me that shorted on out. I mean, it just went, it just didn't work anymore. I took it on down to the Horizon people. Said, we don't know what happened, well, we don't know what happened. How come it got such a big burst of energy into it? And so that's another strange one. Now, that was on another investigation from a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow. How about trail cams? You ever seen any trail cams out there? I do know, didn't it say that his footprints, Mel's footprints, just kind of disappear and without no warning, just like gone?
That's the same thing as Emma Tresp. Yeah, Mel. Okay, the story about Mel is this. Okay, Mel was he was not a fool. He had a successful jewelry business, gym business, black belt in karate. He kind of looked like Terry Hanratty did during the early 70s, Pittsburgh Steelers. Not Terry Bradshaw, Terry Hanratty, the Ringo Starr type of haircut. And so he goes on up there, and I'll give you the background story to this to the people who are not familiar with this. And this is early September, and he goes on up with two friends to do some hunting. And his friends say, Mel says, you know what, knock yourself on out. I'm going to build a blind. If something comes on by, I'll take it on out. So his two friends come back at dusk. Mel's vehicle's still there. And again, this is not, this is on the opposite side of where Emma disappeared. It's impossible to get lost. Up there on the mountain, you can see the repeater station, radio station. Down to the right, if you're facing east, you just go down Soldiers Creek. You're going to get to the Pecos River. In other words, all these landmarks there. Anyway, his friends get back, and Mel's vehicle's there. There's no Mel, so they crank off a few rounds. No response by any gunshot. So then they get the foghorn, the air horn, and they use that. Mel doesn't come back to the camp. So they got to go to the ranger, the state police, file a missing persons report. And this becomes a full-scale search. Volunteers. You can see pictures on my website. And then you can also see pictures on the website of investigations. That's Santa Fe Ghost and History Tours.com. There's Cessnas, there's Huey helicopters, and tracking dogs, people on horseback. And they find Mel's tracks. And Mel's tracks roughly go, let's just say, about 110 yards away from the camp. And they just truncate. And Mel does not go back on his tracks. There's no predator paw prints around these tracks. There's no sign of a struggle. The cliche, vanished into thin air. So that's another one of those Bermuda Triangle via Santa Fe type of disappearances.
How actually, do you know how many people disappeared in that area?
I don't, not right offhand there. I can just give you a few names, but I don't have that many. I can't think of. As we go on with the show, I'll come up with some more incidents, more names of people that have disappeared on up there.
Now, last time you were on the show, which was months and months and months and months ago, you were talking about you were at you and a friend. You were she was walking down the road by an old tree. You were at some type of thing, and you heard music playing.
Well, that links right on into what are these disappearances. Okay, where we were at. Okay, there was this psychic, and most psychics are as phony as a $3 bill, but this woman was fantastic. Her name was Boricua, and she's retired from that line of work. But there was this road that she always used to get bad vibes from, and a couple years later there was a few murders on this road, etc. In other words, it's a one-way. It's a one lane coming, one lane coming and going. It's part of Old Route 66. Old Route 66 comes into Santa Fe. It goes through Pecos. It's some of the